Today we have a lot to talk about, right?
Yes.
We're going to talk about, we're coming towards the end of the year, so we're reflecting on 2025, and we're talking about the energy of transformation. And of course, we were at the year of the snake, so it was like that shedding. And also, like, whenever there's that energy of shedding and letting go, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like you were sharing as well in our free masterclass, which you can watch linked below, that this was kind of like a very revealing year for you as well.
Extremely intense. I think this year there has been a lot going on, and it feels like a very long and a very slow year, because if I look back at what happened in Jan, it feels like it was lifetimes ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So where have I been going through it? I think it's been everywhere, in work, in relationships, in friendships, in just every other area of my life.
With me?
Different friendships,
yeah.
yeah. So it's just a lot that is coming to the surface, where you're just like, okay, where am I really having, the uncomfortable situations pop up for me? The uncomfortable emotions are just coming up to the surface. Every month has been different. And then, when you reflect back, you realize that, it's not just, it wasn't just me. I felt that this was, with all the clients that I worked with, they were going through some uncomfortable situations as well. Especially because I work with people who are going through tough times in their relationships. There was a lot that was going on. So I noticed it not just with myself, but with everyone, and everyone's just like, why is it that I just feel so stuck here? I'm not able to move forward. Things are just not happening the right way. And I thought that we were all in a good place, but then suddenly, it's just come crashing down this year. And so it's just been a time of understanding yourself and just understanding where your triggers are coming up, and working through them, not getting uncomfortable or not getting too shaken up by them, but just knowing that this is a part of you. As much as all the wonderful and amazing things are a part of you, this is also a part of you, and things happen, shit happens with us all the time. I just always tell myself that it's a phase, we're going to pass through it.
Of course. I mean, life is cyclical, just like nature. Everything is like works in rhythm, right? And I also remember, I think, like before 2025, like before we rung in 2025, I remember like saying to you, I was like, it's giving 2020 energy. Like there's something about 2025 that feels like 2020. And I remember you were like, but it's going to be an amazing year. I'm like, it's going to be an amazing year.
I remember I used to say that to you all the time in the beginning of the year.
It's going to be an amazing year, but it's also going to bring up a lot. And again, I didn't even think about it being the year of the snake or like any of that stuff. But I just feel like when January 1st hit, I was like, wait, I feel the exact same way that I felt within myself before 2020.
Okay, so it did not hit for me that early in the year. I think the start of the year was pretty great. It was in like June, July was when it was just like, wake up. Like, this is like, you need to face the things that you are like, just bypassing. And you need to like let it come up to the surface and just like work through it, So there was a lot of, like, I went for a retreat, and like, I hosted a retreat. So it was just, there was a lot going on in the middle of the year.
And I think that was sort of like the turning point for many people too. It's like, particularly June, I think, is like when people are like, wait, there's so many things happening around the world. And also collectively, the world is a mirror of like where humans are collectively, right? And so when you were saying about how you're just being shown a lot of these things to kind of push you to just look at it like within yourself, so then you can, release it. And like, I mean, I have thoughts about that, because it's like, I don't think you ever really release anything. It's just sort of like alchemizing and transforming
it.
And I just feel like now, whenever things outside of me is showing me something that makes me feel like differently within, I just see it as like a very important mirror, So I'm like, actually, thank you for showing me where I'm still holding a wound or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that, this comes back, we go through something, we feel something inside of us, our triggers, they show up and we feel uncomfortable. But how many of us are actually sitting with that discomfort, noticing it, observing it, working on that, shift, working on making that choice that, I have a different choice to react over here. I don't have to react in the way that I have been programmed to react all these years. And so that's when becoming aware of that programming becomes really important.
Yeah.
But then also knowing that, okay, I don't have to sit with that story of mine throughout my entire life and keep blaming that part of me.
Yeah.
Because that happened and that brought me to where I am today. But I am making a choice, a conscious choice to make a shift into being somebody who I want to be in the future and not living a life on autopilot all the time.
Yeah, and that's a very important piece because we were also having this conversation about how there is a difference between feeling your feelings and actually processing and feeling your feelings, because you can feel your feelings from like a place of victim mode, and that's when you're just, like you said, you're in the story and but this is just who I am and this is what this person did to me and how am I ever gonna move on from this sad story of my life. But it's like processing it is actually also, like what you said, you meet it, you actually look at it. Like this morning, I kind of had that moment where I'm like, wow, I'm kind of holding emotions like in my body, like in my stomach and my chest. And I had to sort of like meet myself there. So it's not just about crying, but it's like, okay, where is it? Why is it coming up? What does my inner child need? Like, what can I do right now to actually process this and like move this, out and like actually cycle this emotion through? Because I realized too that when you just acknowledge your emotions and you don't stuff it in with like positive thoughts or like positive thinking, it actually moves really fast.
Yeah, it does. And also this, something that I brought up earlier as well is we feel like, okay, if I want to feel love in my life, something must be blocked in my heart chakra and I need to open up my heart and like, be open to receiving love and all of that. But what we don't understand is that there are some other chakras that are connected to this feeling as well. Yeah. So if you are feeling shame, which is living in your sacral chakra, if you're feeling unsafe being around somebody, being in an environment of love, then it's your root chakra and your sacral chakra that is affected. It's not really your heart chakra, because your heart chakra wants to give and wants to receive, but the blockage is down there. Yeah. So how are you moving that energy? And so I was in the gym today and I was so conscious with my movements today during my workout that I was just like, okay, right now I'm working through my I'm grounding through my root chakra. Yeah. I'm moving my hips so that my sacral chakra has a lot of movement. And this is also what we did in one of the pre-works inside the program, right? Yeah. Which we have already shared inside the program, which is your balancing all the chakras in your body through this movement, through breath, through chanting. Yeah. Because all of that activates your chakras and cleans up and, balances your energy so that you are more aligned with who you want to be in the future. You're not still working through all of those past baggages. You are already aware of them, and now you're, sort of preparing yourself on where you want to go, say, in 2026.
Yeah. And I think it's important that our masterclass sort of illuminated like where we're still holding our wounds or where we're still identifying with it, because once you enter the program, Love and Abundance Mastery, linked below, but it's like once you enter the program is when you are able to become like a clear channel. I think one of the best analogies that I heard this week was by this woman. Her name is Louise Rumball. Okay. And she basically said, she's like, think of your body like your phone, right? Like if you have no storage, then no amount of like repeating affirmations or doing the positive thinking is actually going to allow your body to hold your new life. And so you have to delete some, files, some photos, some videos. You have to make storage for a new thing to like come out, which is not bad, right? Like looking at your emotions is not bad.
I want to bring up something controversial here.
Okay.
And I know like you love Joe Dispenza, and I love Joe Dispenza too. And thank you for introducing him into my life and just exposing me to his work. But I was doing his gratitude meditation today. And I was like, I cannot possibly feel gratitude if I haven't really looked at everything that does not allow me to feel that gratitude. Like I feel sometimes if you just dive into his meditations, it bypasses a lot of, the work, the inner work that we need to do, the shadows that we need to look at, understanding where we hold the trauma, why we feel discomfort in our body. Like he does say, move past the discomfort. And that is amazing.
Yeah.
But just becoming aware of where that discomfort sits. And I know because I'm bringing this up also because I know you've been through some, inner child work in the last couple of weeks.
Basically.
So what did you feel about that? I mean, what are your thoughts around that, on just like noticing your past traumas, your past karma also that, comes in, not just our own karma, but the karma of all our surroundings, our parents, our teachers, our friends, our peers while we were growing up, and everything that brought us to where we are today, becoming aware of all those patterns and then working on transmuting them. Because otherwise you're just working in darkness, right? Like you're just not knowing what is bringing up this discomfort, and you're just like moving past it, moving past it.
So that's why, like, I think with his meditations especially, it's very important to like read his work. So Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he has like the brain dumping exercises and like journaling exercises.
Okay.
But I also feel like he is quite mental in the way that he doesn't, believe too much in like inner child work, or he never asks you like, what did your mom do? Or like, what did your dad do? For him, it's like, what do you not like currently? The feeling that's living in your body, and what do you not like about your reality? And then you just have to immediately think of the opposite, right? Which we know that for some people it's not as easy as that. But I also feel like the core of his work is his breath, which he doesn't share too much actually, like in his podcasts or anything like that. Like I think you would have to go to a retreat to actually like understand like his breath, and he talks a little bit about it in Becoming Supernatural, his book, and he talks about that as well. He doesn't use the word chakras, and he actually mentioned in the retreat,
energy centers,
that he doesn't like to use the word chakras, because then it can close off some people, where they're like, but I'm not spiritual, or I'm not, like I don't believe in that. But I definitely agree that like doing his work alone without actually looking at like where your patterns come from, personally for me, I don't think it's enough, because I also think his work is very advanced. It's very like, you just go into nothing. Like you go into consciousness, you go into the I am, like I am source, right? But again, for some people that journey requires like little bit of steps. And like understanding like, okay, but I am the way I am because of this. Again, not really identifying too much with that story, but even the way that he guides us, right? He's just like, feel it. And it's like, okay, but I am kind of like, I still want to process other stuff as well.
And I think that's where like a little bit of hand holding is necessary, right? For people who are new to this work. Which is why I did a lot of, when I started off and started working with people, I would guide them through a lot of forgiveness. Really understanding their past. And then one way to move forward and move through it is just through understanding that we're all humans here, we're all having a human experience, and people make mistakes, and we can't really hold it on to them that you've caused me pain and have that resentment in our hearts, because that again is an energy of making you feel very, very drained out, because you're putting that energy all out in just resenting someone for their actions. But when we just see that other person as an equal, as a soul who is, on a parallel journey, maybe we are somewhere here, they are somewhere here, and just understanding that we don't have to get entangled with each other's karma, that, we can move past it while parallelly living together with each other and knowing that, okay, they're bound to make mistakes because they're on their own journey. We are bound to make mistakes because we are on our own journey, and just let's be a little more humble about this entire process and forgive, and then move towards gratitude. That thank you came into my life because you showed me these triggers that exist in me. And now I'm okay to let go. I'm okay to also be grateful for the experience that we've had, which also is a practice, incidentally, that is there inside our program, the Love and Abundance Mastery.
But I also feel like that comes from a very high level of view, right? So that does come from that soul view. And I think before you even get to understanding forgiveness or any of that stuff, that's why in our masterclass we talked a lot about the wounding, is because you have to validate the wound. You have to validate the pain, right? You cannot just bypass the inner child and go straight to soul. I mean, you can if you want to. We're not telling you anything. But it's you'll always default back. Because again, the inner child will always want validation of the pain. And what I experienced in the shadow work retreat that I did in the past week is when I just validated the pain for a second, I immediately felt relief, right? So it's I was avoiding doing that because, again, I was just going to soul and be oh, yes, but, I understand that this is a soul contract and this was a karmic lesson and this person taught me a lot. Genuinely, mentally, I understand this person taught me a lot, and actually I'm so happy that whatever happened because I'm who I am because of this person. But my inner child was still yeah, but it still hurt though, So I kind of had to give space to the inner child to just, feel the pain. And honestly, if you really, really move somatically in your body and feel that feeling in the body, like I said, it doesn't take long. If you feel you're stuck, it means you're in your head and you're attaching it to a story. And you're just in the ego, because again, the ego and the mind is the one that's replaying it again and again. But when you just move that, thought to where you feel it in your body, it actually just moves and alchemizes really fast.
Correct. And that's why I think any sort of a chakra meditation, if done regularly with breath, movement, chanting, it all helps in moving that energy in your body, and it doesn't feel stuck in one place and cause you that pain over and over again in that one zone of your body where you're holding that hurt. And all this is coming from the past where if there was a moment where you felt neglected or you felt ignored by somebody in your home, you hold it somewhere in your body. It just gets stored as a memory, and if anything remotely similar to that situation happens, you start feeling that discomfort in that part of your body again. So when we do a chakra cleansing, when we do not a cleanse per se, but just becoming aware of that part of the body and moving energy through it with breath, with light, with just chant, you're remembering source, you're remembering God, and that is where the channeled energy comes through and moves the stuck energy in that part of the body and lets it go, and transmutes it into something that is more closer to love and abundance, rather than something that constricts you, contracts you, and shrinks your energy in any way.
I actually feel if you blend Joe Dispenza's work with this work, you'll be unstoppable.
I agree.
Because you're processing and moving a lot. I still struggle with his breath. I still don't know how to do his
It is hard,
breath. And he actually teaches that, right? He's you have to move energy from the lower energy centers. He calls it make love to your brain, because it's he wants that energy to kind of go
move
up. Move up. And
But if you do it
that
right,
takes
it actually
practice.
feels like that.
Yeah. Have you ever had like experience like that?
It is a joyful experience, yes.
Yeah.
To like, have that energy move
up.
up and then move down. And it's all
It's like a
also
cycle.
similar to Kundalini work
It is
as
basically Kundalini.
Yeah.
He just doesn't use that word because he's also heavily inspired by Yogananda.
Yeah.
Which he does that, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he does Kriya Yoga, I think.
Okay.
Yogananda. But I mean, it's all basically similar. Just
yeah.
different approaches and like different names. And you also did trauma-informed yoga.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I'm sure they kind of teach something
We didn't
similar.
go through Kundalini, but I've experienced that through other meditations, also
Yeah.
through Joe Dispenza's meditations. It's just the life force energy within you that when you connect with the source, with that all expansive energy, that all in one energy, your energy moves up to your crown, moves down to your base of the spine, and again it just moving in cycles.
Wow.
So you feel that within you. And
Yeah.
even though you don't experience it, like you're saying that, okay,
Yeah.
I have not felt it in that sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it's still happening in you.
Right.
It is still moving because
Yeah.
that is just life force energy. And sometimes when it gets stuck somewhere, like say for example, your heart center or your heart chakra is where the blockage is, or where you hold that intense pain, that energy cannot move as smoothly. That's why you feel the discomfort.
Yeah.
So this energy is constantly moving. It's just that you become more aware of it when you're in meditation because you're so connected inwards. You're cut off from the external world.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why we also have tapping inside our course, which is the way that I like to move energy, because essentially you're moving stuck energies, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel like awareness is so important at the very beginning, because it's like if you don't know what you want to move out of, then how do you even know what you're gonna
get into?
Like alchemize or like, what you want to call in, right? Like those two are very, very important. But again, don't use that as a way to just stay in your head, right? Because it's like so easy to avoid feeling the feelings. Like that's what I learned as well, is like I was just so stuck in the mental process of it. It's like, oh, but I have to repeat this many affirmations for this long. And for some people that does work. It matters their level of resistance. I think we all have different levels of resistance. For some people, like mental process works, but I do have a theory, I don't know if it's correct, but I have a theory that it's like everyone at some point in their lives will be called to feel the feelings in their body. So it's like, can you manifest through a mental process? Of course, like many people do it all the time, right? But I feel like there will come a time where again they will be called back to the feeling. Somebody's gonna do something, or something outside of them is gonna happen, and they're gonna be like, I don't like the feeling, and then they're probably gonna go back to their mind and start doing just the journaling, or just repeating affirmations or doing all that stuff, and then they're gonna realize like, but there's still something missing. And I think a lot of people actually come to my channel when they're like, but I've tried it all, but there's still something missing. Because I think like also my purpose here is to illuminate that, which is like, what are you not seeing?
Yes, I agree with that. And I also think that this is a continuous journey, right? It is not something that we do one time and we're done with it. Because I have been on this for so long now. I think like 5, 6, 7 years maybe. And every year is different. Every year I'm peeling off another layer of the onion and just like, uncovering something new about myself, another trigger in another area of my life. Sometimes it's with work, sometimes it's with my relationship with my son, sometimes with my husband, sometimes with my friends. And it's just always something or the other is showing up. So it's just knowing that you have to keep doing this work. It doesn't end anywhere. We are on a constant journey of evolution. That's why we came and took this birth in this physical body, because we are here to keep growing and to keep evolving ourselves, learning, and also helping others learn. So,
and also let's talk about how the energy of this year was meant to support us to do this work, right?
Exactly.
It's the snake year, it's the shedding, and you talk a lot about karma too. We are at the number 9. Which is karmic lessons that just are coming to an end. So then we can move forward, right? Because next year is the year of the fire horse.
Yeah.
And it's very much like forward movement and energy and like taking risks and starting stuff. So
I've
talk to
also
us.
seen people or like, energies that do not align with you anymore leave in this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed this too,
I
but
have.
I really saw this happen where, because we are moving on that path of evolution, because we are evolving ourselves and we are growing through the lessons that are showing up for us. Other people who are not able to match with our energies are leaving. Some or the other way, they are getting cut off from our life. It's not something that we have to take proactive action to, like,
Or
cut
force it.
them
Yeah.
off or force it in any way.
just happens.
It just naturally happens. So again, a lot of chapters getting closed this year is something that I've noticed a lot, and which makes it so that we are at the end of this year. We are in December already. We're closing all the chapters. Where are we going next? And just really taking a peek into 2026 as well with your own energy. Where do you want to go? What kind of goals do you have for yourself? Like, after everything has shut down, where is it that you want to take your energy next? And I think that entire journey is something that we have very thoughtfully created and mapped out and designed for the Love and Abundance Mastery Program, which will help people in moving through that arc, moving through closing those chapters and really transitioning into the energy or stepping into the energy of the new year.
Yeah. And this is why I actually love Joe Dispenza's work. At this point, he needs to know who I am.
He really
I
does.
literally talk about him in every video. But what I love about his work is, like, one thing that I really resonate is you have to know what that emotion feels like in your body, because then you have to become that frequency. And I actually had a lot of like change in like thoughts and all that stuff around manifesting after I went to his retreat, because I started to feel like, okay, so really manifesting is just simply frequency, right? So it's like, if people fall away from my life, kind of like what you were saying this year, I'm sure a lot of people felt that. Doesn't mean something's wrong with me, but it's like, if I'm taking care of my energy, my frequency will shift. And some people are not meant to walk this new path with me, and that's okay. And it's like, if you can surrender to that and not control it and not cling on to that and be like, but I love this person and I want this person in my life. Like, again, his work is also stepping into the unknown, right? So it's like, you don't know what's out there, but because you're connected to the frequency of love and abundance, you trust that mystical, magical things are gonna open up for you.
For
and
sure.
actually
There's
be
no other
open
way
to
that
that.
it goes.
Yeah, exactly. And be open to that. So it's okay to have an intention, to have a goal, and to have a vision, but also leave room for some kind of magic. Because I couldn't predict half of the things that I've manifested in my life. It's like, even if I wanted to, my brain would be like, really? Like, can you really do that? But it's like, when you open to spirit and when you open to soul, like, you're just open to everything. And you're just allowing these things to like come to you, you know?
Yeah.
Really what we wanted to highlight in this video is that right now, all of us are at a potent time being called back to us. And we are closing out the year of the snake, right? So this is the last bits of like that shedding that, with this energy that we're having collectively, can actually support you through the next year, right? So this is why we wanted to make this video as well, to kind of let you guys know that you don't have to do this alone. And that's one thing that I learned at the retreat too, is like, actually healing in isolation is so easy, because I thought that I just had no shadow. I was like, I'm healed, everything's good. And then you start to see it being mirrored and you're like, wait, healing in isolation takes longer. It's not impossible, it takes longer, because, as humans, it's kind of difficult sometimes for us to be honest with ourselves. But when you have a mirror, this is why I love online communities. This is why I love joining courses, because I'm like, you get to connect with other people and you get to have support.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen this happen in some other communities, the other programs that I've created in the
Same.
past, where people are just coming together, they're sharing everything that they are going through, and because they're sharing that, other people feel called to even share their struggles. And then
You don't feel alone.
Yeah, you don't feel alone. You know that there are other people going through it, and they're in the same boat as you are, probably going through the same struggles as you are. And that we're in this journey together, and there is support from the two of us. We are available in this community to guide them, to handhold them through the process as they are doing the work, as they're walking through it.
Yeah. So we would love to see you at the Love and Abundance Mastery Program. Everything will be linked below. Honestly, it will change your life. It will change your life because this is energy
These
work.
are the kind of courses that have changed my life. So it just brings us so much of, excitement and joy to put something together like this for you. I mean, honestly, if I had something like this at the start of my journey,
we're helping people quantum leap, basically. It's like, we have the formula.
We've learned it. We know what it takes to get there, and that's all that we want to just put out in front of you guys.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and you can also follow us on our Instagrams. Everything will be linked below, and TikTok for me. You have TikTok too.
I have TikTok, I have Instagram, I have YouTube, so you can follow me everywhere.
Yes, follow us everywhere on the socials, and thank you so much for watching. Share this video, share this conversation with as many people as you want.
Yeah, you think that might help them, please do share it with them.
Yes, but thank you so much for being here, and
thank you.
I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.